Oh, we're unmuted now.
Hey.
Ahoy, crypto pirates, Hexicans, Captain RG3. How you guys doing? This is your Discourse Syndicate, and we have my new man of the week, Liberty. How you doing, bud? Can you hear me?
Hey, good to see you. Yeah, it's like I got your call for help again. Somebody help host the show.
Hey, is my audio okay? Is it clicking?
You always sound good to me.
Man, you're too good to me. Well, here we are, man. Day 300 is behind us.
I threw about 2 ETH in for fun, and and then suddenly it was like out of control.
Hey, I'm gonna switch over to my headset here so that I can hear you. I can't hear you. Give me quick second here. Hold on. I think Johnny Chaos might be joining us. I just passed his house like 15 minutes ago. We just missed each other.
Well, that's good. I can't stay on too long today. I just wanted to help out until we had enough guys in here.
Hold on, I can't hear a damn thing. Oh crap. Oh no. There we go. Now I can hear you.
All right.
So like
so threw a couple ETH in, and things were looking good with about 20 minutes to go. And then we were all in the chat saying, "Oh yeah, the sale's on is on the exchange, not on the AA. It's on the exchange." Uniswap. That no one bought that.
Oh,
Hexo did a great job with his helmet.
I saw his 300 helmet. That was awesome.
He has so much fun doing that.
He's good at it, man. He's good at it.
He was talking today about, some folks, feel they got a better deal than going through Uniswap. But I don't think it's that big of a deal. I mean, we're in the early stages, the launch phase of Hex. It's kind of like buying Tesla when it was $35 a share. And if you got it at 30, go ahead.
It was a nice pump. I saw the nice pump come in there.
Yeah. But the thing is, down the road, it's not going to make any difference, right? Whether there's 6,000 in the AA, I guess it makes a difference, but way down the road, they'll forget about their cost basis and what they paid for it. It'll be minimal.
Now I saw Richard posted that I think like you said, I've been on the. Hold on a second. I've been on the road here, but from what I understand, we had some arbitrage, right?
A little bit. I'm not an expert on that, but the difference between Uniswap price and the AA.
There he is. Yo, what up, Johnny? Man, I'm
so
bummed I freaking missed you, man.
Me too. You should have called a little bit earlier.
Like 5 minutes, dude. I'm like 15 minutes away from you. That sucked.
Now it's just me. What is happening?
I'm trying to let's see here, layout. I'm trying to fix the layout. There we go. There we go.
You just want to see all the craziness going on behind me here. That's what it is, right?
Dude, your stuff is so cool. You got to make me some pirate shit, man. Got to get something made by Johnny. I got to have a Johnny Chaos original. That's for sure.
Well, it's funny, those NFT things or whatever's going on here. Everybody seems to be selling those great.
Yep. Well, I have a little piece of artwork that I put together for Discourse Syndicate's T-shirts, and I was going to do that. It's very easy to do. I mean, I learned it from some girl was posting her pictures or whatever up, and I grabbed the link, and it's really easy to do. It's not a big deal.
Well, it's kind of bizarre for me because, I make stuff in the physical world, and that is really hard to market anything artistic in the physical world. Other than those abstract paintings that are generally used for money laundering purposes because nobody in the world is paying for a duct tape banana.
Can't you take one of your pieces and get a really nice photo of it and kind of make it a piece of art that way? digital?
Well, I'm sure I could. It's just this is a little bizarro world for me. You know, I mean, I like to make tangible stuff, so it's kind of weird to think that, you know, because I mean, people will argue with you. You know, it's like, well, that's not worth that. It's like, really, how many hours you got into it? You know, and it's like, but okay, we'll buy a digital picture of it. Okay.
Yeah. Some of the Hexagon ladies,
but I guess whatever
about,
makes money,
taking some pictures of their tits and doing NFTs with those.
And kinetics.
Oh, kinetics,
kinetics and his man knit photos.
His abs. Kinetics abs.
Show the abs.
I was watching Halloween Wars with my daughters last night, and they're all excited about the creations. And I was like, "Girls, I got to tell you about Johnny Chaos and what he does." So I got to figure out a way to get them on here where they can see your work behind you. But they love.
Well, a lot of this stuff I do end up buying, you know, and I do go to conventions and trade shows and stuff and trade up with other artists. So not everything is mine. You know, the giant dragon, the giant dragon back here, that's like totally me. Because nobody in their right mind would spend that kind of money to build a giant dragon just for no reason at all. So that's totally me.
That's a labor of love back there.
You know, yeah. Well, I always wanted a giant dragon. You know, you can't just buy one on the internet. You know.
No, you got to build one.
Unless you buy it for me, because I'll build you one.
Or you got to hatch one from the egg. You got to start from the egg and hatch it. You know, that just takes a long time. You got to feed a lot of goats to it and all that kind of crap. So,
so I got everybody into FOMOing into that AA.
So that was your fault.
I guess I'm a little guilty of that, but you know, I was thinking if any day was going to be the day we were going to have sleepy whales, it was going to be that day. But you know, again, I certainly think that you know, that what would happen is you would get that arbitrage issue where people are like, wait a second, now if I sell half of what I just got and I still have free, and you're still going to have people driving down the price. So I mean, you know.
Where did it end up?
And price still went up, still got a deal. So
it was 6663.
Okay, I saw Richard post fucking arbitrage bitches or something like that, and I saw a chart with price, you know, drop. I couldn't see it. It was on the phone here, but I guess that's what happened after the little pump. We had a little arbitrage.
And that is generally what happens is people see, okay, if I dump it over here, then, you know, I can make a little bit of money. And, you know, Hex is not really designed for that. You know, it's not the coin that you want to be playing those games with, because, you know, when the train leaves the station, you're going to be like, damn, that was dumb. You know, I don't really understand why anybody would sell anything for less than a penny at this point. You know, I mean, it just seems, I guess if you got enough of them, but it just doesn't seem like it's worth it, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like you said, it's a completely different. It's more different than any other crypto has been. Period. End of story. I mean, Hex is unique and it's badass. And you know what? It's really time. And you've been saying a lot, Johnny, on Twitter, is that it's time for Hex to really show how badass it is and us to start talking about it, because the rest of the crypto world is going to start realizing it with all this stupid DeFi bullshit that's going on out there, with all the crap that they're all spewing. I tweeted today, they're starting to make excuses for Bitcoin now like you wouldn't believe. I mean, it's like, did you see that article about the all-time highs that I put up?
Yeah, that was really interesting. It's like, really? Are you going to tell me that's not the real all-time high? The chart says that's the real all-time high, dude. So until it returns there, you're not making a new all-time high. That is, I don't even know what that is. That is some serious cognitive dissonance going on there. And he's a smart dude.
Now all of a sudden, the all-time high isn't an all.
We lost you. We lost you, RG. You're in the shadows anyways, RG, so if you can get some light on your face, some of the folks in the chat are commenting on how dark it is right there. We see your we see your teeth.
All of a sudden, an all-time high really isn't an all-time high.
He'll be
now
back.
We totally lost him. What's up with that?
So your FOMOing was great, and then like 20 minutes to go, it seemed like it wasn't the same pattern that we've been seeing. We've been seeing 6,000 in the adoption amplifier early, but to be at 600 with 20 minutes to go it reminded me of the old days, right? When you're waiting for the last 30 seconds to.
We knew that was going to happen, right?
And then there it was. All it took was one.
There was the hope, but if any day was going to happen, it was going to be that day. And I don't think it's going to. I don't
January.
think. Yeah, we're not gonna see below 8,000 Ethereum in that adoption amplifier for very long. It's done. It's done. So enjoy the deal you got, because it ain't getting no better.
That's important that you just said that. I mean, I was thinking about that earlier. Enjoy the deal you got. It's the deal you made, and it's going to be great down the road. I mean, you're really going to forget about how much you put in the long run. But when you saw 6,000 going, we thrown in an ETH at 6,000 or 15,000 or 20,000 ETH in the AA before. So even 6,000 was fine, but it felt good for a while.
Yeah.
And with only 50 days, 48 days left to go, there may be some other attractive races to 5 o'clock or whatever day the adoption amplifier ends. It'll be fun.
That is the kicker, because initially for the short term, it wasn't an extraordinary deal. Okay, it was a good deal. Was it as extraordinary as I thought it would be? No. But we look back at this and probably laugh, because there might have been some people that got in a little extra before it does do something
a really good fucking
later.
Deal.
Right, so it could take off. I mean, you realize that if we 2x right now, we're top 10 crypto with a 2x, because that puts us in the what is that, 300
with a 2x.
It's the 3 billion market cap.
We'll be on page 2 by then.
Yeah, on coin market cap. Yeah, we'll be on page. We'll move our way up to page 2.
We'll see, and
the gatekeeping is hilarious, dude.
Well, you've been hitting Twitter pretty hard about that, and I think it's time that we start calling everything out and saying that you did a really good job when you were talking about the influencers and the disservices that they're doing to their people, and what people are going to be saying about these influencers. While they've been pimping their freaking sushi and their stupid freaking DeFi this, DeFi that, hot dogs and everything else. I mean, it's just ridiculous that they're actually giving those things freaking time and not spending half of that time on researching what HEX is. And it's track record already. There has been not one day of downtime. Not one person has been hurt by the code. Another guy got on. Did you see everybody hammering that guy on Twitter today? It's like, where did the code hurt you? Where did it touch you at? Can you point to the spot on the...
Well, that was me that posted that one too, RG. It said, where did the code hurt you?
Social Worker 101.
I mean...
Colin in the chat says, one day in the next 49 days, there will be a glitch in the matrix. Have that ETH ready.
I haven't had that much hope since like January 5th.
Shadowy Brilliant says he's all in already. He's already all in.
We used to watch it thinking that we were gonna, you would put your ETH in early, and you'd sit there and see it.
I'm gonna get $1 million.
I'm gonna get 3 million. No, it was like 3 million, 2 million, whatever. And then, we'd get $1 million,
Or 1.8 day was good. 1.8 million day.
Day 33.
Day 33.
Everyone will always wish they had put more in on day 33.
I sure do.
I was happy with mine.
But
I got like 1.2 million or something.
Can't complain about what we've got, So, I mean, but the whole rest of the crypto world needs to be called out on when they're going to start realizing what HEX is and what it's going to mean to crypto, and when people are going to quit wrecking folks out there and actually start climbing on board and talking about what it is. I have heard no influencer out there actually give it any time for real. I mean, I've heard them talk about every other stinking ass, ridiculous, dumb shit, freaking CZ gonna rip your ass off project out there and giving it decent reviews, and then walking, stepping over $1 to get a dime, over the top of HEX. And it's time they get called out. It's time they start realizing that, look, when are you stupid fucks gonna figure this thing out, that you really have a real crypto in your freaking backyard, and it's sitting at number 20 now. I mean, what are we now, 21?
When they learn how to actually read a chart.
Now we have some momentum going. I mean, we have a journalist on our side now. What's his name? It's Taylor. I mean, he's doing fantastic work. And if all of us will go ahead and forward that, put a link on our Twitters or what have you. I mean, he's putting out some good work every other day or every third day.
And Randy Hilarski too.
Randy Hilarski. I listened to Cabana Crypto did a great stream the other day with the women of HEX, the hotties of HEX, the girls of HEX. Not sure what to call them, but
speaking of the devil, it's Mr. Hilarski himself.
Randy, you FOMO'd hard, dude.
How you guys doing?
You FOMO'd hard. Are you gonna blame me for that one?
Can't hear you guys. Hold on.
You might have to come in. His name is Hilarski all in. You got it?
Can you hear us?
You might have to go out and connect in. Litecoin does. Or can you hear me?
I can hear you guys now.
Oh, cool.
So you're gonna blame me for the 7 ETH, my friend?
No,
You want me to buy it back?
No, not at all. I just like RG was saying, it was the one time where I actually felt like I had a chance to get what you guys got on the early days, right?
Hey,
now let me ask you this question, Randy.
The AA has never been any good to any of us when it comes to that. You put it in there and
let me ask you this question, Randy. Now I got to put you on the spot.
Yeah.
If you would have got 1 million HEX per ETH,
I would have sold at least 2 million of them.
See?
I ain't no bitch.
You arbitraging bitch.
Now Richard would disagree. He would say that's exactly why the AA does what it does.
Oh, God, I would have been like, okay, I'm getting out $2,000. I'm getting all my money back, probably doubled up, and would have been free and clear.
You're still getting in that trader mentality, Randy. That trader mentality is sneaking back up, and it's grabbing you by the ankle and saying, come back to us, Randy. Come back to us.
Hey.
You want to trade. You don't want to save. You want to trade.
Once an addict, always an addict, okay? So you always get tempted. You always get tempted.
Fucking pirates. Bunch of fucking pirates. Throw motherfucker.
Stake that stuff, man. Stake it. You know what I did with mine? I'll tell you what I did with mine. Stake that bitch for 6 years. Why 6 years and not 15 years? Because I'm old. That's why. But nonetheless.
I actually did mine for 2. This one I did 2. Because I didn't have any short ones left. I had took everything and put it out past 7 years. So I changed these ones, made something shorter term. And I got one big one that comes out.
Make gains. HEX is going to force you to make gains because you know you can't emergency unstake that right after big payday because you nuke yourself. So HEX is going to force you to be honest, and it's going to make you make those gains. It's like, Bitcoin was a penny, and if you bought it for a penny and then you sold it for 10 cents, you'd be like, yeah, I made 10x. And then it goes up to $1 and you're like, shit. I could have made 100x. Then it goes up to $10, then $100. What's it at now? See, now you don't have that option at Bitcoin. Bitcoin's not keeping you honest. Bitcoin's letting the FOMO drag you down with it. You know, Hex makes you say, you know what? You can sell a little now. You can sell a little later.
You know, you could look at my history, my videos. When Bitcoin hit 10,000 in December, I think it was December 3rd of 2017. I sold everything, and it hit 10 because I felt I had just had lunch with Trace Mayer, and after that conversation, I didn't feel comfortable about the price. I thought we were being manipulated, so I went back to my room and I sold all my Bitcoin.
Being manipulated.
I still think we were being manipulated with the whole tether pump, but you know, 10,000 selling your Bitcoin is not a bad price.
Yeah, but remember, it was just a couple weeks earlier. It was 3,500. So I was thinking it was topping out already, and then it just went flying another 50 or 100%. So I missed out on that whole pump from 10 to 20, but I didn't care. I still made money.
You guys,
that's a 2x though.
Yeah, I mean, but I've been in since 450, so I was good.
Crypto's always manipulated. What the fuck are you guys talking about?
But that there was some history, there was some things going on during that time, and people believe it was some external parties that were purposely trying to make Bitcoin look bad. And you know, I bought into it, and I sold a little bit too early.
Okay.
Well, we know it's manipulated, all right. Everything's manipulated.
Crypto, man. Everything's manipulated.
This is Hex. Okay.
The question is it manipulated to your favor?
Exactly. In the future, though, we're going to be the Hex wins. And people are going to be saying that we're manipulating the price.
Well, we did. We did yesterday, right? Did we not? Did we not? Okay. Yeah. And that was a social media Mexican pump, and we manipulated it by doing so.
Absolutely.
So it can be done. It's, you know, some people have bigger pockets. Some people have better information. Some people, you know, it's always being manipulated. But all assets that are speculative are. So.
We got some diamonds and lemons in there. Hex
yeah,
Monkey,
RG, you know,
donated diamond.
I want the influencers to improve. I really do. I want them to improve.
And
I want them to realize.
They should be held
Did we lose
accountable.
him?
It's time to get because they're doing a disservice to everybody in the whole crypto space. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's what I'm trying to say is that it's time for us to start flexing on them. I mean, we've got the clout. We've been climbing the charts. Our chart looks like it does. We've been climbing the ranks. Our chart looks beautiful. There's nothing that, you know, Hex has done to hurt anybody. Nobody's lost anything on it. Even our pump and our dump, which isn't even really a dump, it looks better than anything else out there. I mean, the only thing that Hex doesn't have that some other cryptos may have had in the first year is more influential money coming into it. Like, you know, for instance, the EOS launch. You know, there was a lot more capital, a lot more financial energy that came into it. Then, you know, it was a different time. There was a different community out there. And, you know, like I said, tell Richard and everybody all the time, you don't get the community that you want, you get the community that you deserve. And this is what we've gathered, you know. And we may not be on the same speed chart as EOS, but we've definitely accomplished the same thing.
Yeah, just look what happened to EOS. Now it's $2 and something. After the end of theirs, it was up to 14, I think, or something crazy like that. I can't remember exactly the numbers, but it was nuts.
A fun metric to follow, or maybe even be a goal, is your interest thresholds. I mean, maybe your goals, you know, is to have 1,000 units of Hex and interest. Maybe you hit 10,000 or 100,000 or 1 million. It's just really fun, and you know, 2 million, what have you. So it doesn't matter what the price is doing. Suddenly, you went from 10,000 units to 12,000 units, or whatever. You have 20%, 40% more units than you had before, and then multiply that by the price, and you'll figure out, wow, how did I get this account value? Well, it's because you have a lot more units. So that might be a fun thing for folks to track.
Yeah, I'm only paying attention to how many trillion shares I have now. That's all I care about. Now I don't care about the price. It's like everyone keeps saying, "Oh, it's going to hit $1." I don't fucking care if it hits $1. I care about how many hex I'm getting every day in interest.
Well, if it hits $1, but I mean,
because I listen to you guys. I want to know how much money I'm earning in interest daily, and that's what it really excites me.
Yeah, I mean that is the exciting part of it. I mean the price is always going to be more exciting, but knowing what Hex is, what it does, and what it's all about is really how we're going to get adoption. The problem is that price is what gets adoption with everything else. We're going to get adoption by people knowing what Hex is, and that's the problem. People don't know what Hex is. What people's perception of Hex is that it's a scam. That's it, So that's what's got to change. That narrative is what's got to change. And people
I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it till post BPD. After BPD, then it's really game on. I purposely don't want. I don't want to share, man. I think we're doing good.
I keep getting torn with that too, because it's like I don't want to tell anybody anything at this point. I've been trying to back away and take a break, but I can't help it. It's like it's almost impossible to stay out of it, because people gotta say something stupid, and you're like, no, actually, it's this. You just can't.
But we're kind of what Richard said the other day totally makes sense. We're in an echo chamber. We really are. We're in the crypto echo chamber now, and everyone's already made their decisions. If we do get a couple to come over, that's cool. But I don't think we're going to get a lot.
No, I think we've already gotten what we're going to get, and now it's going to be Hex's merit itself is going to bring its adoption, and that phase is probably going to be slow. When crypto pumps, when all of crypto pumps, it'll pump.
When it pumps, we pump. I like those better. Those are more fun.
Well, I mean, that's what's going to happen.
Well,
is
there's still some external stuff that is coming up that hasn't been quite out there yet. So Staker app, as we know, is coming out. The guys say it should be out. How much
to us that makes Hex really sexy, but really to the rest of the crypto community or to no coiners, how much sexier
I'm not talking about the crypto community. Well, talking about an app that allows you to buy your crypto on the app itself without having a Coinbase account, turning it into Hex and staking it. That is the objective. That's an all-inclusive scenario. And the reason why it's taking so long is because they have to get the licensing to do that.
But then it's going to take KYC, isn't it?
Well, eventually they'll have to figure out how to cash out.
Well, it's going to take KYC, AML KYC, in order. That's what the certification's for. You have to have that.
Yeah, for the
I don't know, because you can sell those. You can sell digital art.
Yeah.
Well, I could sell consulting, and I can run a credit card. You can sell digital items in a game and run a credit card. There's got to be some loopholes to allow you to do that. I mean, you buy gems and stuff in games.
But we're actually doing
makes that really any different than crypto?
Johnny, I'm actually going through it right now with my app. So we are not putting credit card in there for a reason. Because you got to report so much information. So we're not even dealing with it.
Yeah, you have to have KYC. It's part of it. They don't want you onboarding or offboarding or onboarding crypto entry or exit without them knowing who you are and how much in and out.
But it's okay. We need stuff like this. We need more Coinbases. They need competition.
Yeah, they do need competition. And who better to do it than our boys? You know what I mean? Freaking hell yeah, you know? But what all I'm saying, I'm not saying that it's not going to be a great thing. I'm saying how sexy is it going to be for the outside crypto community, the no coiners, that there's a staker app. You know, if it's easier, of course, yeah, it's going to be a lot easier than trying to Coinbase them, trying to ETH them, trying to freaking put them through the staking application. You know, churn. You know, the whole thing is just it's very, very cumbersome. We've always talked about it. It just is. You know, that's the way crypto is.
Try explaining to a no coiner. Try explaining to a no coiner why Bitcoin is $10,000, and then you could say, "Oh, look here, Hex, you can get 2 of those for a penny."
Yes. Now that's
what does Hex do? It does this, all these extra features that Bitcoin doesn't. Now, if you're a no coiner and you're not familiar with the Bitcoin branding, that Bitcoin brand means absolutely nothing. That's unfortunately what the crypto space does not understand. And that's where the adoption is going to be much more incentivized for outside people to jump in, because hey, I can throw $5 at it. I can throw $10 at it. Heck, I get a whole bunch of them. How are you going to sell a $10,000 nothing to your average no coiner? You know, that is where the problem is. You know, now it's reached such a status. It's more of a status symbol than anything, you know.
Middle class WM in the chat says, you know, whatever we are saying now is exactly what Bitcoin Talk forums are talking about 10 years ago. You know, we have to remember we're only 11 months old. Yeah. I think it's pretty interesting that Bitcoin's 10 years old now. And
well, crypto in general is 10 years old. And that's my point is that the market is, you know, kind of saturated with people that came in. Everybody else who's sitting on the outside of it, what's going to make them interested to come in now versus, you know, the 20K top and the, you know, and the dump. You know, what's keeping people away? Is it that dump that's keeping them away? Is it the fact that, you know, it's only come back to 10K that's keeping them away? Or, you know, what is it that's keeping people away from Bitcoin? Because, you know, if anybody comes into the space, they should be coming in because of Bitcoin, right? I mean, who gives a shit about Hex to no coiners? You know, no coiners want to know, well, how do I get Bitcoin? And when's Bitcoin going to go to 20K, 100K again?
Assuming that they even know about Bitcoin. You're looking at the majority of people and saying, well, everybody knows Bitcoin.
Oh,
you can literally go onto a college campus with $100 bill and say, would you like this $100 bill or would you like this Bitcoin? And they'll take the $100 bill. Seriously. It's because they really don't grasp the concept of,
but they've heard of
digital assets to begin with.
Yes, but they've heard of it.
Or the chocolate bar.
Or a chocolate bar, yeah, they'll take the chocolate bar over it. You know, I mean, it's sad. The sphere of influence is much smaller than we think because we're knowledgeable of the space, so we look at things differently. But if you're looking at it as you know, just an item. Say you've got item A that does X amount of features and item B that does X amount more features. If item B has more features than item A in an open market, why would they pay, you know, 10,000 more for item, you know, for the thing that has less features?
Because
other than just to say, nature. I paid more.
Because that's human nature. They want expensive shit. They don't want cheap shit. That's what happens all the time. Heard Richard say it too. People want.
I run a retail
shit.
store, man. I love how people tell me that they're going to Walmart. Okay. But there are more people that are cheap bastards than there are people that want to spend big money.
No, you're right. However, in investing and in crypto, people buy it when it's going up. It always.
That's what I'm telling you, though. The whole market in the crypto space is much smaller than the outside world that we need to bring in. If they are introduced to Hex first, then you don't have to worry about this whole trying to justify shit with the powers that be in the crypto space.
Yeah, well, and therein lies our dilemma, because once again, the Hex has gotten the community that it deserves, not the community that it may have necessarily wanted. And we are the influencers, and we aren't the people that are putting up the numbers on YouTube. We aren't the people that are getting in front of people like Tone Vase and everybody else that are getting in front of people and influencing them into crypto. So that's what's got to change. And that's where I was kind of getting at the beginning of the stream here, was that it's time for us to start throwing our weight around and calling these influencers out and calling all these other projects out and telling them, look, that's the track record now. Now it's scoreboard. Look at the freaking scoreboard. Look at what we've done. Look at who we are. Look at where we're at. It's time for you guys to start taking us a lot more serious than you have been, And it's one thing that we got pissed off at them for yelling scam and this and that and the other. Now, the fact that they're ignoring us and gatekeeping us is really the travesty in all of crypto, because more big shot influencers should be talking about Hex, and they're not at all.
Like I said, I don't mind.
I hear you. But that's not what we're here for. We're probably going to get that by default, Randy. That's probably what's going to happen. We're going to see the payday come and go, and we're not going to see a monster pump, or who knows? I mean, it could happen. We don't know. But for us, by default, we're going to get the good deal. I mean, we're already getting the good deal. We already got all the good deals. Like you said earlier, we're the whales, the crypto whales of Hex, and here we are. Big payday's coming. Probably going to go out with a mediocre whimper or whatever, and then grow from there.
Well, it'd be hilarious because big payday is actually going to be watched more in spite than anything.
Because I think they're expecting some horrible.
Every influence out there is waiting for their "I got you" moment. They're like,
yeah.
They need it so bad, and when they don't get that "I got you" moment, oh Lord, it's gonna be fantastic.
The only thing Big Payday does is make Hex more expensive and rare, and the early adopters very, very wealthy. As far as that goes, that's it. That's all that's going to happen. It's a double happening.
It's a double happening, and it sorts the supply, and it then creates such a downward pressure, on the actual amount of Hex in the circulation, because Hex is going to get so damn scarce. It's going to be stupid, because everyone's like, oh, it's going to dump. Yeah, but you know what? The people that are locked up, that Hex ain't coming out for years. So once all that dumping is done, it's gone. It's all gone. Nobody's giving it up at that point. It can only dump for so long before the supply is just completely liquidated, and there's nothing left available. And then the price can only go up.
Yeah, no, correct.
So SuperHex.win says, let's all go silent until November 20th, then get really loud. Well, Richard would personally fly to each one of our places and strangle us if we did. He might strangle me the next time for just being honest about what I would have done if I would have gotten all the Hex yesterday.
So what's the chat room saying? We got anybody commenting in the chat room?
They're asking about Conrad. What we think about Conrad, if he was involved in the creation of Hex. I think he was like he may have been an investor, one of the early investors.
Are we talking about our Conrad?
Yeah, Conrad Zen.
Conrad Zen. I don't know if he was involved. I know that he's from that the English area there, and that's where a lot of the advertisements have been coming up. And he doesn't seem to be a slouch. He's known an awful lot about Hex from the get go. I don't know. I don't know if Conrad. I mean, I've talked to him personally a few times. He and I have talked about streams together, and we've done some streams together, and he's a great guy. I don't know if he was involved or not. You know, maybe. I know he was part of the.
Well, he's certainly a whale, and he certainly holds a way more than probably all of us combined.
Maybe.
Most likely.
This caffeine free.
But I also said to Anna, I said to Anna the other day when we were watching one of his videos, I said, I wonder if he rents those Bentleys or Rolls Royces, or those are actually his. You know, because that reminds me of
wasn't like it was
the guys.
a freaking brand new Phantom or anything.
Yeah. But
Well, the Phantom, he said he borrowed from somebody, and then later he said it was his, so he must have bought it. But
yeah,
I don't know. Maybe he tried it before he bought it.
Maybe, I don't know.
because I saw one that he got into, it was silver, and then I saw another one that was black, I think it was, or something. It was two different colors.
There was
so
a
that's
green one. Yeah.
the green one too. So that's why I had that.
Two big ones.
Like maybe he's renting these.
I don't know. But he was.
Does it really matter?
It does.
No. I'm just making a comment because I watched one of his videos.
Yeah, I mean that's the kicker. You know, you never know how much money somebody has or how much they have invested. You know, a person can have a mansion and be so much in debt that you know you would never know. So you'll find, you know, and it's hard to tell. You know, I mean, but if a person makes sense, they make sense. You know.
Yeah, I mean, my father is a perfect example. He drives his Chevy pickups for 10 years, pays them off at the first 12 months with a zero interest. Well, at least back when zero interest was scarce, right? And now it's easy to get. But that's how he always did it. And he always lived really low key. He's filthy rich, right? Made some good decisions.
Well, they say rich people live like they're broke, and that's how they stay rich. And poor people try to live like they're rich, and that's how they become broke.
Absolutely, 100%. Absolutely. Live low key, guys. If anybody's living in the chat. What's Liberty doing over there? He's got his mic. There he is.
Yeah, I gotcha. So there were some good streams on this week. I got a chance to listen to Unwrecked Pirate yesterday.
Yep.
That's Piss 555, whatever his name used to be. Only understand a third of what he says, but he's got a lot of energy. He had a couple other guys on. I mentioned earlier the ladies of Hex. That was strong. Serena is really strong, and Hex
Serena.
to the yes, and Annette, and I forgot the other girl. Crypto Nomad. I think she's a shark. Actually, I was really impressed by her. She had some technical difficulties, but I mean, they could really get the word out. You know, they even talked a lot of how it's mostly dudes on the streams, and if they can get their own following, that would be really great.
Yeah.
Anna missed
Serena's
it.
had a channel up for a while, and she actually was one of the first people to come out and say, you know, I don't care if you don't like Hex or not, I like it. You know, that was really cool. I mean, and that went way back. Like,
Were you talking about Nerd Girl?
go ahead.
Nope.
No,
Serena.
Serena.
Yeah, Serena. She's had a YouTube channel for a long. She had a YouTube channel before us.
Mm-hmm. She was one of the first people to come out and do a positive Hex video.
Hex to the yes and the Annette were hilarious. Hex to the yes is like anytime anyone calls Hex a shitcoin, she says, "Your mama's a shitcoin." That's her big your mama's a shitcoin.
She's my Twitter buddy. She's freaking awesome, man. Hex.
Yeah, they're both really something, and Crypto Nomad. Yeah.
Steph says that to correct Johnny's comment, we're not applying for a crypto license, and KYC is mandatory to go from fiat to crypto. There is no legal loophole.
Yeah. That was my assumption.
I'm saying they're making an effort. I don't know what's going on over there. I have no knowledge of that. I'm just saying that is kind of the ideal
And like
goal.
you said,
as they said before publicly, as they said before publicly, and I want Steph to bust my balls on this, they are trying to incorporate anything that we could possibly ever think of and do it. So
yeah, and having another platform to onboard people is definitely, you know, having an alternative to, you know, back out crypto trades or freaking Coinbase is definitely a plus, especially when it's on our platform with our people that built it. You know what I mean? So
exactly, because if we're the first entry that they come into, like, okay, so Coinbase is Bitcoin, right, or Ethereum or USDC, but here it's going to be HEX.
Yep. Yeah,
that would be the awesomeness.
It'd be HEX and then ETH.
But
and then
again, it's speculation, right? We don't know whether or not that's going to be able to happen or not. We're hoping that it does. And we know the guys are working on it, but they may or may not be able to happen. So the effort's being put in, but we have to see what it yields.
We shall see.
Shadowy Brilliance just said that BitFi people on Twitter are looking to free claim their HEX. BitFi, is that Bitfinex, or BitFi, is that some other platform I don't know about?
Probably Bitfinex, yeah.
Yeah, because those people they have their Bitcoin on Bitfinex for the last 10 years or 8 years or whatever. It's one of the old school exchanges.
Those stacks are so itty bitty now, though.
Yeah, compared to what they used to be.
Do you guys subscribe to the Telegram channel that gives you the alerts for when a Bitcoin claims?
Hex Whale.
So here's no. Is it Hex Whale on Telegram?
I don't know what it is on Telegram, but Hex Whale on Twitter. Is that Firebone that's behind Telegram, that?
You get like the Telegram one?
No, the Twitter one. That's Firebuns, isn't it?
I don't think so.
Huh.
I don't think so.
That's good to see every day. Those are fun.
Yeah,
Hex Whale.
but the Telegram gives you every single Bitcoin claim. Like if it's 0.1 Bitcoin, if it's 1, if it's 100, it shows you, and then it shows you what they got, and it's just like ridiculous.
So does Staker app.
It's so well, yeah. But you get alerts. I get alerts from the Telegram, so I see it pop up. It just pops up on my phone.
All right, guys. Just to correct it, it wasn't Bitfinex. It's BitFi. It's some kind of wallet, and they're looking to
BitFi wallet.
Yeah, they want to claim their HEX for their people. That's cool. The more that claims, the better, I guess. It's more available for us at Big Payday.
Definitely. But it's going to be over soon.
I don't know, RG. I think we should not beat up on anybody till after Big Payday, and then we can say "I told you so" really, really loud.
Well, I mean, I get that. And it feels good. It feels really good to be able to say, you know what, you guys, ninner, you guys are going to miss out, you know, and all that shit, and ha. And I get it, but on the other hand, I look at it as, you know, we started this. We started the Discourse Syndicate to get out there and get in front of HEX and to start educating people to what we knew about HEX. All the hours we've all spent researching, figuring out share price, figuring out staking strategy, figuring out, you know, I mean, we've got it down to where, you know, we're speculating on what HEX is going to do because we know what it is going to do. So we're speculating on what could happen and what the possibilities are. So we've gotten that deep into it. And other people don't even know what HEX does. And that's our job. That's what we're supposed to be doing. And the community itself is all that HEX has because it is a finished product. It's a project that's done. We are the voice. There is no freaking outside influencers, no exchanges, no advertisers. Nobody's going to do the job of getting the word about what this thing really does better than us or other than us. So that's what I'm saying. We're obligated in a way to do so. Let me see who else is in here. Hold on.
Funding Jim.
Richard was talking about this being a 150-year project. I don't think any of us really think that far in advance. Everyone's thinking about 15 years, but when he stakes 150 years, right, that's just a financial product where people are taking their interest, restaking their principal for years and years and years. So that might be the way we expand our brain a little bit. This is not just a 15-year thing.
I think I know my 2.5-year-old son is pretty well set, right?
Yeah, our young ones are set. They're set.
Playing on what Liberty just said, I thought it was interesting because he said, 150 years. I've heard that thrown around a bit, and in crypto, people thinking more than 2 weeks wasn't the normal. Even if they said hodl or something like that, they really don't think in long term. But if you look at any bank, big banks, big institutional banks, they started with an idea. They started with a concept that they would basically pay back in a CD form. There's actually contracts that are still paid out that are 100 years old with certain banks.
Yep.
There's certain awards in ROI that have been paying for over 100 years from banking institutions to contract owners. So why couldn't that happen in crypto? Why wouldn't that be possible if you have a mathematically audited vehicle that can basically be put on more than one road? So if you believe in Ethereum, that's amazing, that's fantastic. But if Ethereum isn't the substructure for Hex in the future, that vehicle can be on other substructures. So I really think it's interesting to have a 150-year perspective.
But you're right. That's the problem. Is the crypto space in general is a 2-week thought, and they may say hold, but when they say hold, they're saying hold your bags while I sell mine, So they're not really thinking long term, and it's not investing. It's more of a gaming system where it's when do I get in, when do I get out. So that's why I think the marketing suffers in trying to market it in the crypto space versus trying to market it as an outside financial product that just happens to be digital. Almost there's a certain stigma in the no coiner world. There's a certain stigma around crypto. If you talk to a no coiner, they might look at you and go, "Oh, you're one of those." So it's funny because you get so within the space that you forget how it was to be outside of the space and what appeals to you before you were in crypto as to what appeals to you while you're in crypto. So there are some interesting perspectives that I don't think people are going to see coming, which does make Hex appeal more to the outside world than something like Bitcoin. And I'm not trying to say, okay, we're taking down the king and, trying to piss off the maximalists or anything. But I'm just saying, if you have a commodity and you're trying to sell it on the open market to the general public, you have to be able to justify that cost. And if there's another product, that's why, Harbor Freight exists. Okay. Everybody wants American-made tools until they have to go pay the price for them. Okay. So what happens is, all right, I buy all the American-made tools. And what do? Your wrench breaks and you go to Harbor Freight and you buy something to do the job just right then and there. So there's a whole world of marketing of people looking for that cheap deal that's going to do the job for them.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely. And it's interesting to try and flash yourself back, especially if you have had some kind of investments in the past that has nothing to do with crypto. If you've invested into a house, if you bought a car for utility, transportation, but maybe also to make money off of. People are right now financing a vehicle so that they can do Uber or they can do Lyft, or so that they can pivot and add some kind of secondary or third income stream, as everybody kind of scrambles for support in this economy. So in the past, you might have looked at your home purchase as just a place for you to live in. But with the rise of like economies of VRBO and Airbnb, people look at the utility of a house as also an income source. And I think that if they look at something like a CD, you know, they might not have, as a young person, necessarily thought that that's a good ROI. You know, that you're basically going to say, okay, I'm going to get, you know, 1% on my money in a checking account at the best. Maybe I'm going to get something extra that, I mean, what's the point of chasing something so small, right? But if you look at something that's mathematical, it's audited, it's immutable, and get somebody that they trust to look at those source code, to look at that stuff, right? To say it's not just a promise by a bank, even though Chase may be a great big bank, it's still a promise. It's not just a promise from a government that might be U.S. Treasury and you know, bonds that grandma gave you, you know, something like that. You say, okay, well, do I need something, my future based on a governmental promise or a local government promise? I think that people are becoming wise to the fact that you're looking for something that generates more than the stake. So if you grow a tree, that hopefully it's going to create apples for you to eat. If you raise, you know, if you invest into a house, you're probably looking at more than one purpose of housing yourself, right? You're looking at ROI and income from it. So I think it's really interesting to approach the no coiner from the eyes of before you ever knew anything about Bitcoin, if you ever knew anything about what the word crypto even inferred. Yeah, that's great. Great point.
Hey, thanks, Court the Panda, for the pirate, or for the diamond. You said FTP for the pirates. What is FTP? Somebody translate.
File transfer protocol.
For the pirates.
For the pirates.
Oh yeah,
For the FN pirates.
I was thinking, fuck the police.
No.
So I was a little bit late in joining into this. I saw it was posted earlier, but I had someone utilize my referral link on hex.help because that's only for supporting a charity. So I have a 3-year staking period minimum, and anybody that ends up using that referral link, I don't have anything as far as income that comes to me directly. It goes directly to support a charity. And I saw that someone had bought HEX through the AA, and it had awarded the referrer 151,000 HEX. And then I just staked it for a 3-year period. And that's all transparent on the blockchain. And I show on it's uploading the video now, but basically it will show anybody that wants to look. And what I'm pointing at is you can utilize this not just for your own potential benefit, but it effectively cost me $6 in Ethereum gas to stake about $650 worth of HEX for 3 years. And that had a 22 trillion shares, which equals to about 100 HEX per day over the course of the next 3 years, right? So I think that if they look at the math and they get real nerdy about it, then they can say, oh, that's interesting. If they look at the code and you're just curious about Ethereum or something along those lines, and the possibilities of DeFi. I'm not saying the DeFi has been executed well recently. It really hasn't been, with a lot of different projects and stuff. And obviously, if you're on YouTube and you happen to be seeing this, or on Dlive, I saw yesterday that 81,000 people were watching one of these things that Vitalik is talking about and saying, I'll give you 10 BTC or Ethereum if you give me 5. So that kind of flipping stuff that you got to stay away from. You have to become savvy really quickly in this industry. But I think that if you just look at, you know, your point of reference, which is usually a single person. Like, I'm dealing directly with people. They can see my face. I have my clients pay me in HEX and they get a discount versus the dollar that they would have to pay me in, right? I pay vendors if I can. I pay them in above and beyond their dollar amount. I pay them in HEX. And then I instantly walk them through how to convert that into dollar through USDC into Coinbase. And now they have, you know, secure dollars that they can exit out and pay whatever they want to with their money. So they basically are making more money in dollars from how I'm the point of contact in the crypto space, right? Or in the HEX world. And I've been able to onboard probably about $200,000 just because I'm paying my bills and I'm receiving income, for my services and my rents and things like that in HEX. So I think that there's more than just the get out there and influence, get out there and promote, and get out there and just shill referral links. I think there's a lot that we can be doing in a conventional sense if you have any business savvy.
Personally.
Yeah.
Yeah, personally. And the people that I've onboarded, are small businesses and stuff, and people that I talk to directly. I got my brother into HEX, and I didn't really stand up for any other crypto because there's no way to know what it's going to do. But for HEX, that it's going to make more HEX, and that just kind of put me in a position where I could say, hey, and boy, my brother certainly was happy when I showed him how to cash in and get that 400 uni. He's like, wait, what? I just got more money than I ever put in HEX, just by clicking a button. So, you got to love that, the fact that, most of the Hexicans got that big drop of uni, and they wouldn't have done that if they hadn't been in HEX, because they probably would have never heard of or used Uniswap.
Right.
The thing within the crypto space, though, which is marketable, is that whole universal mining aspect. And I had a guy get on me about this because he's like, well, you're not talking about HEX now, you're talking about other coins. Well, everybody's got their own different purpose of what they want to do with their crypto. And who are we to tell them what to do with their money? So if a person wants to take and use HEX to mine Bitcoin by staking their HEX and selling their interest for Bitcoin and restaking their HEX, they are now able to join the mining pool, so to speak, because they're able to produce more Bitcoin and not have to buy the mining equipment, pay the electric bill, or any of those other aspects. And if you want Ethereum, then you could sell your HEX for Ethereum, just your interest and restake it. So, all this chasing that we have going on for yield farming, the universal yield farm is here, and it's HEX. You can make anything you want from it. So it's a matter of what you value most. You choose.
Yeah, and the staking mechanism, being able to look at that ROI in HEX is above and beyond the speculative value on if you're saying it's going to go up, it's going to go down, it's going to be volatile as a cryptocurrency. So, the good things about crypto really have been built into the code, and is independent of an influencer or a founder or a promise, for some partnership or something like that. Even if you buy stock in something and you say, well, what's Tesla going to do next? Well, maybe they're going to partner with some other country and they're going to electrify India. Okay, that's going to make that stock go up or go down based on maybe a battery that explodes and kills somebody famous. So you can look at the volatility, speculating in just about any industry. Same thing with real estate. I was just looking at what's going to be happening in Baltimore as far as some of the big investments. They're going to convert a lot of that into opportunity zones. And you can say, well, that's a great opportunity for me to speculate in real estate because there's going to be money coming in from a government influence. So you can look at all kinds of variables and you can try and stay on top of news cycles, or you can just say 2 + 2 = and go with a mathematical approach on ROI. I like math, and I think that that's really unique to HEX specifically.
Yeah. Hey guys, RG3 had to. He might come back in. He said he's going to try to do the Kraken, but he said his Kraken the connection's really bad. So I'm going to be doing the picking tonight at the end. So for the million HEX giveaway.
That's great. That's great. Did you see the thing about I just saw Richard just talk the other day, and he was talking about how someone was bitching actually in the HEX Crypto channel, and they were saying, "Where's the 1,000 HEX tips? How come I'm not getting 1,000 HEX tips anymore?" Right? People are kind of being miserly and giving 3.69 HEX, and it was interesting because Richard kind of called them out and says, "You have no history here. You've never been in the channel. You haven't contributed anything of value, and now you're bitching that you're only getting." 50 HEX or something like that as a tip for some one particular comment. So it's interesting that there's going to be a million HEX in this RG3 promotion, right? This building of the Discourse Syndicate, getting the word out. But can you imagine, how many people kick themselves over that BTC pizza? How many people kick themselves over being a Genesis whale Ethereum guy? It's X cents per Ethereum. who knows what Hex really is going to do? Who knows? But I haven't seen a lot of projects talk about the 150-year arc. I haven't seen a lot of projects saying, well, we know that you want to stake longer than 10 years, but really the code can only support 15. We haven't heard those kinds of things proposed in any crypto. Even like major ones like EOS and things like that, they kind of added on. I mean, again, I don't know in depth about EOS. I was invested for a while, but I remember when they added on staking features or like trading features to have a ROI or if you weren't using the bandwidth, so to speak, you could sell that bandwidth temporarily. So there's all kinds of things that kind of get added on after the fact, or let's tweak the code a little bit to add this particular secondary module. I don't like all that stuff. I just want Hex as it is and let that vehicle soar. That's really the point of it.
Yeah, I'm in a bunch of different communities, and obviously Hex is now number one for me, but I'm still in some others, and there's others that are doing the staking feature. And it's so funny watching them do their stakes, like, oh, I'm doing a big one for 5 days, or I'm doing a big one for 2 weeks. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And they're not really locked.
No,
they're not really locked. They don't really have the share rate, and they're not collecting the penalties. So what they're doing is totally inferior to Hex, but they have no clue because they don't. If we get them to try it, they'll understand. But the trick is getting them to get past their beliefs and go, okay, let me try this. That's the whole kicker. There is nobody in Hex that is going, damn, this sucks. Why did I get into this? There's not a damn one of us, okay? But everybody chasing their tail with this DeFi or this one's going to pump or that one's going to pump or, get over it, guys. Quit chasing your tail. Any money that you put into these things chasing your tail, you're going to make back way beyond in Hex if you're just patient. Patience pays in crypto. Patience pays. And if you want to know about that, look at the guys that forgot they bought any Bitcoin and woke up one day when it was $20,000. Those guys made money. The guys that sold at $1 did not make so much money.
Yeah,
it's
Randy did all right.
Yeah, I did all right.
When you saw these tweets that Richard just put out in general, like if people say, oh, when leverage margin trading comes and I'll be able to 50x my BTC. He made that tweet about, January 5th, if you'd taken one BTC, it would be 50 BTC now. 50, right?
Without the stress. The stress.
The guarantee is that the Hex that you put in will, if you stake it, it will become more Hex. Now, there's not guaranteed that has a dollar value. That's not guaranteed that has BTC value. Anything can happen as far as speculation. But it's really interesting that it's mathematically coded and the trend is there. You can look at the history of it. And you can see a community that is way more public than any other community I've ever been involved with. The only other people that have been public inside of relatively big ones were people that were founders, or they were people that already had to promote their product or project, but they weren't really the public face of the community. It's really been different.
Yeah, absolutely. We just lost Johnny, and I don't know. I can't let him back in because I'm not. I don't have
an admin.
I'm not an admin, so.
Well, if you need to sign out, I don't know if it signs out if you're able to do that chess thing, or if it's going to be RG3 a different time.
RG3 said he's going to try to do it, but I don't have control of that either. So maybe he'll give me some keys later on.
Yeah.
What I was going to say is that if I understood the shares like I do now, if I understood those back when Hex started, I would have been selling everything that I have and putting everything into Hex.
So would I. I mean, I look at again, I was involved with this community for about a year before the release. I participated, but I didn't participate huge because I'd really been burnt with a previous project that had reputation and, like a big, Fortune 50 companies support, whatever. And that just went horrible. So because that went horrible, I was more scarred in my mentality, even though I liked a lot of what Richard was saying and his history of the years before this concept was even brought up. So I did like him a lot. I did trust a lot of what he had to say, but I just really was cynical about anything in crypto to be true.
I think we all were. Geez.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so later, like earlier, I put in, enough to feel a taste of it, I guess. And then I kind of forgot about it until March. And then after March, I was like, what the fuck am I holding this BTC for? What am I doing this for? Is this really because I'm hoping for banking whales and Raoul Paul and all these other people as influencers to come back and influence billions of dollars to come into the Bitcoin market? Why am I doing this? And it just made more sense to go with something that didn't have selling pressure constantly, that didn't have miners constantly at $1 million per hour, I think it was at the time, selling down the BTC price. So I got completely out of BTC and went into Hex. And I really have been thankful for it. I've been overjoyed in a lot of ways. And I'm looking at things that I can set and forget to a degree, like your home equity. Right now there might be this turbulence in the marketplace about what is even real estate worth, and what is a bond, what is gold worth, what is silver worth. And so people are looking for stability, and they're still counting on some other pool of money buying their gold or silver for more. But that's not really based on math. So I like the math, and I like the public sentiment, and being relatively early in this compounding growth.
Yeah. I got a story right now about silver. I have a little bit Chinese pandas sitting in the closet, and we're leaving for Mexico in 2 weeks. 2 days, we're moving out of the apartment, staying in an Airbnb for the last 2 weeks. And I called up my buddy who runs a vault here, my former business partner, and I said, hey, do you want to take this off my hands? I'm like, I don't want to carry this silver to Mexico.
It's interesting. I've been a gold and silver bug for probably since about 2005, somewhere in there. And
wow, we got a similar path here, because that's when I got back into it. I was into it when I was a kid, but I read Dollar Collapse from Peter Schiff. That's what got me back into precious metals.
Well, I've been following Mike Maloney since about 2005, and then about 2006-07, I became more and more interested as the financial markets collapsed around real estate and such. So I think with Andy Scheckman and other people that were really commenting a lot at that time.
They're all my friends. All my friends. I used to run it on goldseek.com social media.
So I got invested, and I put money into it, and I saw the climb go from about $25 to $45 or something like that. And I was just like, okay, this is just like the bury it and an apocalypse kind of money. Let's just put some money into it. And I staked it, so to speak, because it's physical, tangible something. And even physical dimes and quarters and stuff like that, right? So like what they call that, junk silver or whatever. So I looked at all that. And as a kid, I was a comic book collector. Obviously, I've been in classic cars, things that I thought would have value in the future. But classic cars have a collectible arc because of the age of the person, right? So a 1960s car is only valuable until that person that remembers it as in the 1960s, and they couldn't have it, or they sold it when they had kids and they went through their arc of life. When they're in their 70s, all of that stored up collectible value gets released into the public market and sells down the price, right? Happens in cars. It happens in comic books. It happens in baseball cards and collectibles, Star Wars memorabilia, all that stuff. It goes through the arc of the people that remember it nostalgically, right? So I looked at silver and gold as, okay, this is 4,000 years of nostalgia instead of 30 years of nostalgia or whatever, right? So I put money into that, but that was all before crypto. And it has been relatively stagnant. It's come up a few percentages, even in this turbulence of right now, this past year. It's gone up, but it still hasn't reached its all-time highs. It still hasn't reached its speculative values, right?
I always laugh when Peter's a good friend of mine, and he's one of the reasons why we're moving to Prague. Or that's the goal, right? Because he lives there. Yeah. And because I like having a community, that's important to me. And Peter gets into it with Barry Silbert all the time. Barry Silbert is all Bitcoin, and Peter Spina is all about gold and silver. And the two fight; they go at it like cats and dogs. And I tell Peter privately, Peter, come on, man, we're all on the same team here. We want to end the Federal Reserve. Crypto and gold and silver are very similar in a lot of ways, except for crypto is easier to move.
Right.
And that, to me, that's so, because I'm going through this right now. Now I have to get rid of my silver because I don't want to carry a whole bunch of, not a bunch, but $1,000 worth of silver with me on the plane. It's heavy.
Well, so these are excellent points. Now he'll talk about this gold card or whatever that has basically I know that he promotes a lot. I mean, Peter lives probably about 45 minutes from me in Puerto Rico, right? You already know that.
Oh, you're talking about Peter Schiff?
Yeah, Peter Schiff.
Yeah, okay.
So he's not far, and then I've met him several times at different conferences here in San Juan and things like that, where he's talked with some of my real estate friends and such. Done public conference kinds of speeches and such. So I see him fairly regularly. Same thing with Mike Maloney. Mike Maloney's probably about 20 minutes from me. He's in a different area. But all of these metal bugs, right? Metal people that are promoting, and the crypto people, like Brock Pierce he's based here. He was in a certain place. I don't know if he's in the same place anymore. But all the crypto people that moved to Puerto Rico for Act 20 and 22 as well. Part of it is the fact, almost like politics, it doesn't matter if you're a maximalist on either side. You're promoting your bag, and you're becoming attention in the Twitter sphere. You're becoming attention and relevant. The people don't talk about rubies and sapphires because nobody's in that fight, right? Nobody's talking about the fight. So it's interesting, and I don't think that these people are as maximalist as they believe. I think that they actually diversify more. Like Mike Maloney used to be relatively against Bitcoin, and then he became a Bitcoin guy, and then he became like all kinds of alts guy. So you see the conversion over time, but no one wants to show that their concepts are no longer relevant, right?
Right.
So,
well, I appreciate that Mike keeps adjusting his direction, but the other guys aren't. I think Peter got out of crypto just because he was in a private group that we had. It was like 40 guys, and Peter kept going in some real shitty alts. He got his ass handed to him.
Did he?
And now I'm talking about Peter Spina.
Yeah.
He lost a shit ton of money, and I felt terrible. He treated crypto like he would treat precious metals, where you buy it and you just hold it. And I'm like, man, some of these just they're not going to do good. And you need to get out. And he even held his Bitcoin too long. So, which happened to some of us,
you have new things even in the elements that get discovered every so often. Like graphene isn't really an element; it's still carbon. But I know that there's been a lot of speculation about that's purpose and that's utility and so forth when something gets engineered or some applied materials comes up with a new use case for something, right?
Like tantalum. Look at tantalum when it came out, and it went through the roof because cell phones, the touch screens and the cell phones, and this, the computer screens, the solar panels. I mean, it just went bonkers. Cobalt, things that nobody used up until 20 years ago.
Well, and that kind of speculation can happen in just about anything elemental, because sooner or later, maybe a new use case or a new purpose or some new technology needs some form of boron that never was utilized that way before, and suddenly there's a gold rush of sorts, right?
Exactly. Someone just said gold became popular because it could be stolen.
Hey, there's something to that. Like people dig it out of the mountain. They put energy into finding it, into sourcing it, into refining it, into vaulting it underground or in some other third party that has big armies. Fort Knox has supposedly 8,000 tons of gold, but I don't know if anybody's ever going to find that in person.
Look, I got the Fort Kobe Vault. It's 5 minutes from my apartment right here. We're at the old Howard Air Force Base here in Panama. Mm-hmm. And my buddy Mike runs it, and it's like a fortress. They built a vault inside of a storage facility, like one of these huge warehouses. Yeah. And it's a Basel III vault. And man, he runs it by himself. Just one person needed to run this whole place. And I see what's needed to protect the gold and silver. And I used to work for one of the companies that stored the metals there. So I used to go, and I used to be able to go in and see the stacks of gold and people, the 5 ounce bars, the 10 ounce bars. And I got to put my hand through $700,000 worth of gold nuggets that just came from Tanzania. I got a video of it's on my YouTube channel where I'm taking my hands through the gold nuggets. Cool. Now you're talking about little tiny, the ones they drop in the water to cool them down after it's been smelted. So
to drop them to make those kind of formations. And again, some of these things, if they come from different places, they might be like mercury laden or something like that too. But
you never know. But it was definitely African gold. And they were turning it into bars. They had a facility inside at the time. And I look at all the money that goes into doing that stuff. And crypto has no overhead.
Right.
We have no overhead. Okay.
Right.
So somebody spent the money to build the code that went into HEX. They did that work. And maybe the original value, say it costs $250,000 for the website, the basic logo design, all that kind of stuff. And now it's free and clear and it's out there in the open. We have no overhead. We don't have to worry about a company going under.
Well, even in the metals trade, I mean, again, if you're going to buy a significant amount of metals, right? Let's say it's a monster box of something. That's 40 pounds of shipping, that's security, that's insurance. Once it gets to your place, you've got to put, a box of 40 pounds of stuff somewhere. You're definitely not carrying 40 pounds of silver through the airport terminal. You're not going to be taking that to a foreign country very easily, right? There's all kinds of things. And what you just said was interesting because there was development time, just like if you said, I'm going to find the gold in the mountain. Then there's the refining time, which is basically the minting process of the code of HEX.
The first year.
Yeah. And then you talked about the vaulting. What is your ongoing overhead to vault something, right? To secure it, to keep it. Now, again, HEX is vaulted. I mean, it's even the cost is already covered on vaulting. So you can get shares that are awarded by code, not by individual, but by code to remint to you in that future, right? That future date. So even the vaulting overhead that people really don't pay attention to, they look at, okay, if I'm going to keep physical gold and I'm going to have it Wells Fargo or whomever it is as a third party to secure it, Brinks or something like that. Like I think Mike Maloney talks all the time about Brinks. Now, are you physically going to go down to that vault in the apocalypse? Are you going to, how close do you want to be? How accessible do you want it to be? Whose control, like if you're in the GLD or in the SLV, who actually controls that? Do you have to ask a Chinese bank like HSBC to please give me my metal, right? So I like that HEX has a vaulting that has zero cost. If I want to vault something for 10 years and it's silver or gold, what's that going to cost me, right? What's that going to cost me at Brinks to secure something for 10 years? A lot more than zero, I'll just tell you that.
I have a story. When I first came down here, I worked for a gold and silver company, and they did some of the rare metals and things like that as well. But we had one client that used to always brag, and he lived out, Midwest somewhere, lived by himself, didn't have any kids, and he used to brag about how much gold he had in his walls.
Oh, well, that's cool. What an idiot.
And I used to think, I'm like, we know exactly where he lives. We got his address, and this guy's in his 70s. And I'm thinking, this is people.
You know how fast it takes just a metal detector just to wand over the walls and find like a brick of gold? That's ridiculous.
This is nuts. This guy is, is he going senile or something? You don't tell people that kind of stuff. But the problem is, everyone likes to brag.
Yeah.
They like to brag in some ways. And that's how he was. And even us, we're talking about what we have here. There could be people watching us right now who are trying to dox us.
It takes breaking the Ethereum code. I mean, everybody has their different levels of their security and how open they are about things like that. I want to get back to the metal thing real quick I thought the same thing. I was like, should this be close and accessible? Should this be remote? Should it be, should I do like the Shawshank Redemption and have, dig some box out underneath the tree in a field? I mean, what the fuck do you do? So I made the decision. I was like, okay, I'll just take a boat. I'll go out to sea about 3 miles and I'll just drop it over.
No, you did not. But on a serious note, we used to tell people, look, put your precious metal, split it up in three, and put it in three different jurisdictions.
Yeah.
Singapore was really big at the time. We had the vault here in Panama, and then obviously there was Switzerland. Yeah. So, but we don't have to do that anymore. Crypto's changed all of that.
Yeah.
And when people say, oh, but what gives it value? What gives it value is the fact that there's a couple thousand of us. I mean, how many people are in our Discord?
Inside the TME, inside the Telegram, it's like 20,000.
20,333. Okay. That's what gives it value is the 20,000 people that each put in maybe an average of, let's say an average is $1,000.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's significant. It's going to be more than that, but yeah. And so this, the vaulting process, the growth period, more than the speculative value. I just really like Hex a lot because I feel like I can be more public with that than I could with something metal. Like I was talking about this referral link that still goes for until November 19th. It really, I think it didn't get deployed as broadly in the first 6 months as it could have. And I think that's because, again, a lot of people were like, is that real? Do I want to bring my friends into Amway? Or what is this referral business going to be like? Or whatever it might be, right? And it's grown and it's grown and it's grown. And you can see transparently that people that have staked what their ROI has been. You can look at both the math and the code, and you can see that they are staked for long periods of time on hex.vision or hex.live. You can suss out that these are real people. And also with like Silver the Antidote on YouTube, he's got all of his videos where he tracks whether it's whales or it's short-term traders, and kind of even talks about the psychology just based on the address and the actions that have been done with those addresses. So it's much more transparent of an investment or speculation or whatever you want to call it as a financial product than silver or gold. Because even when the silver and gold price goes up, you don't know what people have stored away. Sure, you might know what the miners are adding as far as the inflation of the total supply, but you don't know what governments have. You don't know what people have. You don't know that great-great-grandpa didn't give coins away to nephew or lost those coins never to be seen again. You don't have any transparency really with gold and silver. And then when it goes to something like being Basel, or is it Basel III? I think it's Basel III, right? That's what they call it. When banks call it the most. So like the Fed right now has physical gold, but it has it pegged on its ledger at $41 per ounce. Now the public market trades it at more than $41 per ounce, but the way that the Fed accounts for it is $41 per ounce. I thought that would be interesting,
I've never heard of that before.
Yeah, it's transparent on the Fed balance sheet, and you can see what they value the gold that they physically supposedly have, and they value it only at $41. Partly, in my opinion, so that the general public doesn't see it as worth more than $41. But they still call it a base 3 type of collateral.
Basel 3. Yeah. All right, so I don't think people understand this overhead thing makes it's a big deal to me. Mm-hmm. And we don't have anybody we have to pay fees to. Well, we got the Ethereum network, all right? So that's really the only.
You don't have any ongoing though. You just have a staking and a redeeming. You don't really have like the trading back and forth and trying to capture the valleys and the peaks of any other kind of speculation crypto.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's okay. So that's a value right there, because then you're not as stressed, and you don't feel like you need to keep up on stuff. Mm-hmm. I saw one of my good friends, Heidi. You know Heidi Chakos, blockchain chick.
Yeah.
Or her husband Toby, he posted something about a project that I hadn't heard the name in like 2.5, 3 years today, and I said, dude. He goes, oh, they're about to release this. I'm like, man, that's from the deep recesses of my mind. I don't care about that project anymore.
Yeah.
I'm joking. You know,
because I know that she did that interview. I know she did that interview with Richard. I know that she's really kind of turned off about Richard's personality and those kinds of things. But, you know, she's been in the crypto space for so long. She seems like she's such a maximalist about value instead of scams. I wish that her and Toby would re-look at HEX.
Well, I'm in their private group, and I always comment HEX guys, and they're ignoring me, bastards.
Yeah.
Randy's like the adopted child now. You know, I used to be people would ask me questions. People don't ask me anything more because I just answer with HEX.
Yeah.
Like, what can you do? You know, you're not going to keep.
And it's interesting because even when you come to like silver and gold, are you believing in silver and gold because cowboys and Romans believed in it? Or are you believing in it because banks still believe in it?
I believe in aliens. I believe in aliens, and they put it into us to love gold.
Well, there's so much that's programmed in our cultures, all these different cultures around the world, about like the coloration of gold and the coloration of silver, about the weight and the heft, about what is sound money. I mean, it has references to money, to silver. So yeah, it's interesting how much is ingrained. But also, if banks or pawn shops won't accept it, then I don't think people would value it the same either. Yeah, so it's very interesting to see who the whales are in the industry. It doesn't matter what the industry is or what the asset is.
And they will fight over the bags that they have. It doesn't matter what it is. Yep. You know, I don't own any Bitcoin. We had 0.12 today. 0.12. We had it sitting in what's that? You guys can't use it, or you're in Puerto Rico, you probably can, but whatever it is, that system where you can sell straight to your bank account that's out of Norway or something.
I don't know, I use Paxful and things like that. I mean,
yeah, but because we don't have Coinbase. But so I told my wife today, I was like, look, you know, I don't know where the Bitcoin market, why don't you just sell the rest of what we have and put it into cash? We're getting to, we're moving out of the house in 2 days, and, we're going into Airbnb, getting ready to travel. I said, why don't you just get rid of it? I don't want to be worried about it. That's a nice little cash to have.
I don't know the numbers that, I've been hearing everybody for 3 years or longer talk about $250,000 Bitcoin. And to have the volume not really escalate in price point, the volume and the price not really escalate over the past 9 months is telling to me. It seems to be that even with, the Mike Novogratzes and the Tim Drapers and the people of influence in the crypto space talking their bag forever, and I was part of that bag as well until I sold. I haven't seen those numbers. I haven't seen that, Microsoft and people that buy stock in Tesla and Microsoft and Apple and things like that they're saying, hey, $250,000 Bitcoin seems realistic, and let me put 1/20th. Let's buy at 1/20th at that price point now. I really haven't seen that kind of momentum, even with people like I said that Raoul Pal or people that talk relatively positively about the Bitcoin growth in value. I really haven't seen that in action. Have you?
No, I haven't. And I don't know. We've never talked about it, but I'm on the Dollar Vigilante team.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff Berwick is one of my good friends. Going to go see him next week or
right.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
Even Jeff, he's so still about Bitcoin and Monero, and
EOS. He's always talking about EOS too.
Not anymore, though. Not anymore.
Oh, he stopped finally because he was talking positively about it for the longest time.
Yeah. So I said to him, it was about, say, 3 months ago, I private messaged him. I said, Jeff, did you free claim your HEX yet? He goes, what is HEX? I said, okay. I went through the whole thing with him. He goes, okay, I'll get back to you, Randy, because I'm busy right now, but I'm going to check. So I messaged him back a couple days later. Jeff, did you free claim your HEX? He goes, no, I haven't yet. And then he talked to one of the other guys on the team. Actually, there's two. There's Mr. X, and I don't even know who Mr. X is. Some big crypto person, supposedly, right? And then we have Raphael, and he's another one of the analysts. And they had actually written in the newsletter to stay away from HEX. And Jeff didn't do it. This is on the crypto vigilante side. They actually wrote something, and I don't even read the newsletter because they're just, in my mind, they're just maximalists and Monero maximalists, and that's what they stick to. So I was so disappointed that they put that in the newsletter. Someone told me they put it in. And I'm like, look, I'm on the team too. If somebody has a question about something, they can come to me, even though I'm not officially an analyst on Crypto Vigilante. People made a lot of money off in the Dollar Vigilante community off of my recommendations back in the day. Right. Just not my recommendation, but my, what do you call it? I would just tell people what I had. You know, they made a lot of money, and I wouldn't steer people wrong. Right. I'm not telling people to get into HEX because it's a trade I'm in this time. This is not a trade for me. Right. I've got stakes going out 15 years. Yep. I've never done that in crypto before. None of us have. This is something totally new for us. And like you and I were saying, I was similar to, I put my money in the first week. I didn't come back until March. When the lockdown started, every night we started watching Hexologist, and that's when I started getting ramped up again and getting back into HEX and learning more and writing the articles. I was
even just the influence. Like recently, everybody talked about the uni thing. I put the four. I think I had like 8 or 9 wallets that were eligible for it because HEX specifically. I've been promoting 6 or 7 months ago on my channels that you should have more than one Ethereum address. You should do more than one action, because what if you get an address compromised? Why don't you diversify? Why don't you have more than one basket? So I coincidentally had 8 or 9 Ethereum addresses that were eligible for the uni trade. And one of those addresses I converted only to Ethereum to pay for gas, just hold it as Ethereum for gas and redistribute to the other addresses. And then one of them one of the addresses I staked for 15 years. Who takes, $2,000 and throws it 15 years in the future? I mean, even my grandmother didn't do that for a U.S. Treasury,
Nobody, really nobody. I mean, my grandma did when gold was being confiscated back in 19.
But everything was like FDR said, "Give it to me."
Yeah, she went and put it in the backyard, and and my dad still has the coins. So a little tiny. I think they were the $5 ones, the $5 gold eagles. Yeah,
I forgot her name because I haven't been watching in about 6 or 8 months. But it's this. She's in her 60s. She does. She was always talking gold stuff. Oh, Lynette Zhang, right? Yes. So Lynette Zhang, she's the same sort of thing. I think her father had like around 1,000 ounces of gold vaulted, and it was because he got so frightened in the 30s when it was confiscated. Then all of his like antique trading and things like that, whenever he would have money to store, he would store it in gold. And I think it's interesting historically, but if you're trying to basically take, you're starting out with a little bit of snow and you're trying to have that snowball, you're trying to have that compound. I don't think that there's something better, one, than crypto as a class, but of course, 99% of those I think are going to go completely bust. Just like in venture capital, if you're looking at VC, even if it's in the tech space, you're looking for that patentable, protectable kind of IP, or you're looking at that founder that if this isn't their product that becomes a unicorn, something else will, right? So you're going to have like 95 or 99 things that fall flat and lose you money, and you're going to have one that makes up for all of it plus some, right? And I think that out of the crypto space, if I'm talking about things that can ROI potentially 1,000x, 10,000x, HEX is the only thing that I've seen mathematically. Even in other things I thought were going to do really well, I think that they were going to go like 30 to 50x. They were going to go really well because corporations were going to buy that product from bag holders. I really haven't seen that in Bitcoin specifically. What is the utility other than speculative? And maybe number over here go down, number over here go up. If you're really looking at trying to make sure that transactions can go through versus a government or some kind of central party counterparty risk. But outside of that, I haven't seen anything that really has that compounding element and all of the other positive elements of certain cryptos other than HEX.
Yeah, absolutely. I still have some other things, but man, my bags are so small now.
Yeah.
And I don't even pay attention. I'm just like, let the market swing, go right ahead.
Yeah, and you said something earlier, which was, I haven't thought of this thing in 2 years or 3 years. Richard comments about that too. When the new thing comes out, like, is the new social media platform growing faster than the old social media platform? Is the new thing that you're into growing faster than the thing your parents were into, right? So you can look at generational changes, and you can look at, are you early adopter? Are you in the middle of the adoption curve? Or are you at the end of something? And when it comes to the crypto space, sure, the bells and whistles and the FOMO and FUD is going to be more volatile on those new things. But that's also where that kind of a phenomenal ROI can occur too. So I'm really happy to be in HEX, and I'm happy to be staked in it. And I like the stability of being staked versus the paranoia of drops and rises.
Absolutely. I always, Corta Panda, he tweeted out today talking about the price going to $1, and I've had to adjust my thinking with and see that we earn HEX daily, and the more trillion shares or Terra shares you have, the more you're going to earn daily. And pretty soon, after big payday, we could be between 12 and 16 HEX per trillion per day. A year from now, we could be at 25, 30.
Yeah.
10 years, we could be at 200.
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I'm telling people right now, about the big payday process, about making sure that if you are in a liquid position, realize that we don't know what the market's necessarily going to do, what the consensus is going to be, who's going to basically, like the other day we had this event, this 300 event, and people bought in at an amazing rate to stake, or to an amazing discount effectively to buy. And then other people, of course, they bought on one platform and then they sold on another platform because they just saw it as a arbitrage opportunity. So people are going to look at any asset with different eyes, depending on their own bias. They're going to say, is this a long-term hold? Like, am I buying this real estate to flip to another buyer? Am I buying this real estate to remodel and rent out? Am I buying this real estate because I want to raise a family inside of it? Why are you doing things with real estate? Why are you doing things with an automobile? Why are you doing things with metals? Why are you doing things with stock? So everybody's going to have a different perspective. And I think that actually adds to the ecosystem itself. So yes. I don't think of it as a trading coin. I think there's plenty of other things that you can look at charts and graphs and kind of anticipate what the psychology of that marketplace is going to do next and try to arbitrage and do that volatility game. That's plenty, Crown's Crypto Cave or whoever it is that talks about BTC all the time, that's what they end up doing. They say, hey, I get better ROI if I pay attention to the charts that kind of seem to trend similarly to stocks and other things, and they just are playing in the crypto space. So if you're going to look at something tradable, there's plenty of other things to be in and out and wreck yourself or leverage or whatever. But if you're looking at the mathematics and you're saying, here's something that has a solid long-term arc, has a finished product, it doesn't count or rely on the possibilities of partnerships or whales or something like that jumping in the future to buy out the little guy's bags, there's nothing really, in my opinion, better than HEX.
No, there isn't. And because we've been around a long time in this space, and Anna, she was supposed to be on that show the other day with Cabana Crypto, and she's been watching every night with me since I think it was the first week. March 20th is when we went into lockdown, so I think that's when the night we started watching Hexologist, right? It was right around then. Yeah. And she says to me, she goes, "I don't feel like I need." She missed the show on Saturday because we're packing and everything. Her mom came over early. But she said to me, she goes, I really don't feel like I'm comfortable enough to talk about HEX. I'm like, sure you are. I said, you've been watching it every night.
Yeah.
It's all in your head.
Yeah.
If you just start talking about it, all the puzzle pieces will come together. And that's what it was for me when I was doing my videos. It was just the repetitiveness of talking. And every time I did a new video, I learned something new. And I think that's like, yeah, Hex is way more complicated than crypto that we're used to.
Yeah.
Right? Where you bought Bitcoin, you put it in a wallet and you let it sit, or you traded it, right?
Yeah. Human beings get a stale psychology too. So I think that speculative stickiness of the learning curve and, basically the re-explanation to others or basically reaffirming your own convictions, I think that that's really important to the value perception of this particular crypto.
Look at the DeFi farming stuff. I don't even want to learn. I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to spend any time. I don't want to put any mental energy into it because we all know that it's not going to last long.
Yeah, sushi and hot dogs and all that stuff. I mean, again, it's going to become a DeFi ICO. It's still ICOs. It doesn't have to have a LinkedIn profile. It doesn't have to have somebody of prominence that's going to join the team. But it's still the ICO game. And,
are you gonna nuke your whole persona or your online persona for something that's going to be
such
a flash in the pan? Yeah, yes, I hurt my reputation during the ICO phase, and I'm still recovering from that. If I didn't get into it, I probably would have done way better.
Yeah.
But people said to me, Randy, why are you talking about Hex? Are you trying to blow up everything that you built? Like, no. In the end, this is like my saving grace in crypto. I made a lot of mistakes, but I've actually found something that I'm not just trying to flip.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy it. I love it, and the community's great. I mean, look, we're both hospital foremen.
Yeah. I mean, it's ingrained in your nature basically to be helpful. I mean, I think that people get attracted to the armed services, to medical profession, to being a fireman. I think they get attracted because they want to, in general, help people. And I think that that's also why we have such a strong community inside of Hex, is because Hexologist, ex-Marine, RG3, ex-Marine, you ex-Corpsman, I'm ex-Corpsman. So you have all of these kinds of people that are really, they're not advocating so that someone else buys your bag for more. I know that somebody in 15 years will end up purchasing if I sell when that stake becomes available. I just talked about, but that's not a concern right now for me. I'm kind of feel like it's almost like that Bitcoin Jesus kind of thing that Roger Ver went through during the early part of the cypherpunk and the development of BTC, until he basically became disheartened with BTC specifically, saying it doesn't do what it was intended to do.
Exactly.
And how can that ecosystem either be improved, or how can other potential crypto products perform in that way? And I think that that's why we benefit so greatly from Richard having been a trader. I mean, is a trader, has been a trader for a long, long time, obviously made a lot of money through all kinds of leverage positions and understanding charts and all the stuff that he's done as an expert in the space, understanding the technology side and the security side and the IT side of how the mechanisms of these things work, right? And the consensus, even the idea of consensus between different parties, because you have 12 people that sign off on a transaction occurring, isn't that just counterparty risk in a different form? So there's all kinds of things that he has looked at that I appreciate.
And you have the parity wallet,
yeah,
the code going bad.
Yeah, I mean, these kinds of things, right? So I think that it's been a terrific learning curve, but I'm so happy that all of that has congealed into this particular product, and that it's so transparent. It's not saying, hey, we're going to have something that is behind inside of a walled garden, and you're not going to see what's in the black box. You're going to see exactly how things work. It's not, duct taped together and say, let's add another module that does this secondary thing, right? Or this third thing, right? It's been built from the beginning to do exactly what it's doing. Generate more hex. If it's staked, if it's not staked, then it's a liquid kind of trading token, So I like it a lot.
Yeah, me too. I'm super excited about it. So, okay, so you want to Should we pick the 3 people that are supposed
Yeah,
to?
let's go ahead and do that because I have a friend that's going to be flying in soon, and I need to go pick him up at the airport.
You got to go to San Juan.
Yeah.
Did you still run through the red lights there? When I was stationed at Roosevelt Roads, we used to have to go through the red lights at night.
After the hurricane, you could for a little while, for maybe like about a year. Like in 2017, you could do it for about a year. But now, no, you can't even go outside without a mask.
No way! Wow, that's
Give
crazy.
you a ticket if you're caught, walking
Things
around.
have changed in Puerto Rico. It was the wild, wild west when I was stationed there. Oh man. Okay, so everybody, go ahead and put your information in there.
Spam it up. I think that's spam it up.
And I'm gonna start picking some names. Let's do the first one here. Children of the Grave.
All right.
I think that's his second entry.
Yeah, I feel like I should be spamming it up, but as we're broadcasting, but I want $1 million hex, man. I want some money.
You do another one here? Exactly. Hector the Protector.
Hector the Protector. I've seen that guy's name before.
Yeah.
Children of the Grave.
Protector.
Hector the Protector. Oh, RG's back.
And then we do one more here. Porta Panda.
All right. Yay.
Porta Panda, he's pretty good. I see him all the time on the Telegram chat. He's always
all right. So we got 3.
Those guys are killing it. They got a whole bunch of them.
Yeah, Children of the Grave, Hector the Protector, and Porta Panda are the 3 that got into the thing.
The regulars. Those are regulars right there.
Yeah.
They're active on Twitter. They're active on Telegram. I see these guys' names all the time.
All right. So let me put them in. I'm gonna put them into our. You guys can chat for a second. I'm gonna put this into the Telegram.
Well, I got to sign off. So actually, I need to ditch out because I do have to go to the airport right now. But RG3, you follow up with me in a direct message later when you're stable.
Yeah, we'll talk. You're heading back to PR right now?
I'm in Puerto Rico now, but anytime that you come, if you're going to visit, then just coordinate with me on logistics.
All right, cool. All right, man. Thanks for coming on. Catch you later.
Later, guys.
Have a good night.
All right.
Yeah, it's late. It's late there.
Ready to turn down?
Yeah, he's Eastern time zone, so he's an hour ahead of me. I mean, it's 11 here. It means it's midnight in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, it's midnight here right now. I'm in Cleveland.
Oh my God. Hey, you're almost I'm from Rochester, New York, so you're almost my dead city. Yeah, or not. Well, my hometown. Steph, thank you for the Ninja Guinea, brother.
Dude, Steph, thanks, bro. Man. All right, so we got our 3 names for the Wheel of Death for the Million Hex giveaway, and right on. And we actually pulled another one off while I'm on the road.
Whoops, whoa! My wife just dropped a cup.
I was gonna say, okay? Someone throwing shit at you.
Oh, she cut her. Let me go. She cut herself.
Oh shoot!
Yeah.
I'll talk to you later. Bye. Oh man, that was horrible. I hope she's okay. Oh, all right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you guys all later next time on Discourse Syndicate. Later days. Oh, wait a second. Where are we at? There it is.